Time capsule that's been sealed underground for 50 years. Inside are the letters left by the first group of students on the 50th anniversary of the school. The letter in the capsule was given as a gift to the new students at the school. Among them was a boy named George. He got a piece of paper covered in numbers. At night, the boy's father, Cage, saw the paper by accident. He's a professor of astrophysics at MIT. He's very sensitive to numbers and mysteries. In the direction of curiosity, he began to study the figures above. One set of figures was written separately. It is then divided into 4 sections. Came up with a date, September 11th, 01. It was the time of 9/11 that shocked the world. The following 2996 is the death toll in the disaster. Cage was a little incredulous, thought it was just a coincidence. Then he followed the same pattern. Divide all the numbers on the paper. There are no exceptions. Each date corresponds to a major accident. Tsunami, explosion, the plane crashed and the viaduct collapsed. The accuracy is eerie. What made Cage even more alarmed was that there are 3 sets of numbers on the paper, predicting 3 disasters to come in the coming weeks. Day 2, Cage told his colleagues about the incident, said there was going to be an accident tomorrow. The death toll is 81, but men don't believe it, thought it was just a coincidence, and asked Cage, what do those numbers mean when they're not circled? Cage didn't know how to answer, because he didn't figure it out. To verify the truth of the prophecy, Cage sat in front of the TV all night, following news reports around the world, until he woke up the next afternoon. Nor has there been any disaster. At night, Cage is going to pick up his son from school. There was a serious traffic jam on the road. Cage took a casual glance at the navigation. See the location on the GPS. Suddenly, he thought of something. He hastened to take the prophecy paper out of his bag. And then, he found out. The unexplainable numbers represent longitude and latitude. If the prophecy is true, then disaster is about to befall this position. Cage hurried out of the car, asked the police what the accident was, if there were any casualties. The police said it was nothing serious, and asked him to return to his car and wait. But the man's voice just dropped. The policeman looked up at the sky with a look of terror. Passenger plane suddenly went out of control. The wing cuts through the high voltage line into the crowded road, and then it hit the ground hard and exploded. It was a predicted air crash. Date, location, and number of deaths were perfectly predicted by a number written by a little girl 50 years ago. Back home, Cage saw the TV news. It said the death toll was 81. It's a perfect match for the prophecy to prevent the other 2 disasters. Cage found the little girl's former teacher, even though it's been a long time, but the teacher still has a strong memory of it. It's a shame that the girl died a few years ago. There is no way to give more clues. But Cage didn't give up. He found Anna, the daughter of the prophetic girl, and told her these things. Anna's reaction was unexpectedly fierce. As soon as she heard about her mother, she turned away. Cage told her, 170 people will die in tomorrow's accident, but Anna doesn't care, and just left with her daughter. There is no way. Cage could only tell the police the time and place of the next disaster by coordinates. Let them seal off the whole street. When he arrives the next day, found here is still the flow of people. He was also regarded by the police as a suspect in making rumors. During the escape, he saw a man who was acting suspiciously. He found out when he caught up, this man is just a green disc seller. Men are not terrorists at all. That's when the disaster struck. The oncoming train was completely out of control and went off course, straight into the platform. Cage had another narrow escape. He knew the whole thing, and there's no way to stop it. When Cage got home, saw Anna and her daughter waiting for him at the door. It turned out that Anna's mother had predicted she will die on October 19th. That's why she's so resistant to these things. But the appearance of Cage and the recent accidents, she had to trust her mother's prophecy. Then she went to the house where her mother had lived. That's when Anna found out 2 words representing the death toll of the disaster. It's very strange. It's not like the number 3. It's more like the flipped letter E. Into the room, the walls were filled with prophecies and the news reports after the incident. Soon Cage found a new clue under the bed. It turns out these 2 E's are the meaning of everybody. This means that the last disaster will be the end of the world for mankind. And that's when there was the rapid sound of a horn outside. The 2 quickly ran out. After making sure the baby's okay, Cage followed the direction the child was pointing. Found a man in black. Cage made a quick chase. The man in black stood in front of him with his back to Cage. Then, he turned his body unhurriedly. Mystery Man opens his mouth. A dazzling white light came out of his mouth. After the white light, Cage experienced a brief loss of vision in her eye. He tried to open his eyes, but the Mystery Man has disappeared. There's no time to investigate the Mystery Man. Cage thought about his and his colleagues' work on solar flares. Through the analysis of the data, the predicted end of the world refers to the abnormal activity of solar flares. Not long after, the high temperature will penetrate the ozone layer to burn the whole Earth, the equivalent of 1 billion hydrogen bombs going off at the same time. He recalled what the girl's teacher had said. The teacher said there was another string of numbers engraved on the wooden doors of the school. So Cage drove to the school, found the wooden door. Then he scratched off the paint with a shovel. See the digital coordinates above. This place may well be a refuge from disaster. When Cage reacts, Anna had gone to the cave with her 2 children. She didn't believe the string of numbers would save their lives. Anna was going to buy some food on the way, but that's when the mystery man got into the car, took 2 of her children. Anna quickly stopped the car and chased it, and the next second, once again, the prophecy came true. Anna died on October 19th. Cage then came to the prophetic coordinates. Here he saw Anna's car and the figure of the mystery man, but the kid didn't know where, and that's when George and Anna's daughter came up. George was holding a rabbit. Turns out these mystery men are aliens. They predicted disaster on Earth. These 2 children are the lucky ones to have the right to live in the end, and that's when a huge UFO appeared in the sky. George wants to take his father with him. The mystery man stopped them. It turns out only the chosen ones are eligible to leave. Cage wasn't desperate because his own son can live. He would have been content. The extraterrestrials left the Earth with 2 children. At the same time, other extraterrestrials had done their job, flying fast to other planets. Cage came home. He hugged his family, waiting for the end to come. On another planet, 2 children were running about among the wheat. The human civilization will continue here.